Does it ever feel like no matter how good your ideas are and no matter what you say in a meeting, certain people just won't listen to you? That can be so frustrating, especially when it's a situation where you're part of a team that knows exactly what's going on and you're seeing the day to day problems. And then people who aren't even in the room won't listen to your ideas on how to fix it. It never feels good when someone's not listening to you. But the good news is you can change it. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 tips that are proven to get people to take your ideas more seriously. Tip number 1 is to let them be the hero. Now, that might feel like I'm telling you to completely abandon your self respect or neglect your own needs, and that is not what I'm saying at all. In reality, I'm telling you that if you want to have influence, you have to position yourself a different role in the story. So let me explain. In every great story, there's a hero who wants something, but experiences a lot of trouble trying to get it. And then the hero meets a mentor who guides the hero into getting what they want. So, in order to get people to listen to you, you need to stop seeing yourself as the hero and start seeing yourself as the mentor. Here's why this is so intoxicating and why it makes others listen to you. Because we are all wired to want to be the hero. We all want the thing we want and we can't have. And we're looking for the mentors who will help us get it. Now, if you become that mentor for someone else, all of a sudden they'll start listening to you because they'll think, oh, okay, this is the ticket to the thing I wanted. So instead of bringing the thing that you want into the conversation, bring the thing that they want into the conversation. You will be amazed at how you will see their eyes light up all of a sudden, which leads us to tip number 2. In order to position yourself as the mentor, you have to first figure out what they want and what's stopping them from getting it. Now, here's a really important nuance. What they want will normally be concrete, but it's almost always driven by a deeper emotional thing that they want. For example, let's say a chief operating officer wants to cut the budget, and it might be because he's feeling pressure from the CEO to cut the budget by a certain date. So he wants a lower budget. But what he really wants is to stop feeling that pressure. Once you understand that, you can subtly weave that into your message. Now, you don't want to say, hey, I know why you want to cut the budget. It's because you're feeling a lot of pressure from our CEO. You should aim to be a lot more subtle than that. You could talk about how great it would be to cut costs quickly so that we can take some of the pressure off of the budget constraints. You see how I subtly worked the emotional issue and the concrete issue into that reasoning? That tiny nod to the emotional issue will make your words much more persuasive. All right, for tip number 3, we're going to get into delivery. Now, you might not feel like a dynamic speaker, but you really don't need much speaking talent to appear more dynamic. When I say dynamic, I just mean using more range in your voice, your body, your facial expressions, maybe more than you're used to. That's because human eyes and ears are drawn to movement. So for you, that could mean moving your tone up and down, or speaking faster sometimes and slower other times, or louder at some points and then softer at some, or lower volume and higher volume. This can help you accentuate important points. You don't need to get in your head about this because there is an easy shortcut. If you can practice getting a little more dynamic with your hands and your eyes and your head movements, your voice will normally follow. It's really hard to be monotone when you're using your body dynamically. There's no need to overdo it. Subtle improvements will go a long way here and there, and you'll find people listen a little bit more closely. The final tip is to present yourself as someone who deserves to be heard. Now, this is an area where you might be subconsciously sabotaging yourself without even realizing it. If you're always qualifying yourself, saying things like, well, this idea might not work, but then you're literally talking people out of listening to you before you even share your great idea. Sometimes it can feel like you're trying to be humble or you don't want to take over the meeting. Okay, but that doesn't come across to others as a humility. It comes across as, don't listen to me. The solution here is to stop apologizing for your ideas, period. Full stop. Be more confident in yourself and your ideas, and you will find that this will tell other people how to feel about what you say. It's strange, but even people in powerful positions will typically let you tell them how much respect to give you. They typically look for things like how much does this person respect themselves? And then they will respect you to the same level that you show you respect yourself. So the solution here is to work on your internal game. How much do you feel you deserve to be listened to? The beautiful part about this one is that you have complete and total control over it. The more confident you are in your ideas, the more you project confidence, and the more it tells other people to receive those ideas. And we have a resource with questions that can help you develop your unique perspective and therefore this level of confidence so that you can present with conviction. I've left a link to it in the description down below. I really hope this has convinced you that the problem is not your ideas. The problem is so often just the packaging and the delivery of the ideas. Your ideas deserve to be heard and to be shared and to be used. And with these tips, they'll go a lot farther. And if you want to upgrade your persuasion skills to get even better at packaging your ideas, then check out this next video.